The following video contains language that may be inappropriate for young viewers. Viewer discretion is strongly advised. Welcome to Behind the Bars, where we bring the unseen and the unheard stories from the depths of the prison system to the forefront. I'm your host, Jason Boss, and together we'll explore the madness, the chaos, and the harsh realities hidden behind the steel doors of prisons worldwide. From the local jailhouse to death row across the world, we'll show you the isolation, the seclusion, and the decades spent enduring unimaginable conditions. These are the stories of survival, struggle, and humanity in places most of us will never see. We're here to shine a light on what society often forgets, the voices of the incarcerated. Each story is real, each voice is authentic, and every moment reveals the raw, unfiltered truth of life behind the bars. Join me for a journey like no other, a journey into the darkness, the truth, and the resilience of the human spirit. This is Behind the Bars, real life, real stories.
Ladies and gentlemen, friends and family, I thank you very much for being on this podcast. You are on the podcast, and this is your host, Jason Boss. And with me, I have a truly amazing friend with me. His name is Rueben Reed Jr. He goes by Junior. He also goes by Gladiator, and this brother has been doing a tremendous amount of time inside of the Texas Department of Criminal Justice. And it is my honor, it is my pleasure, and I can't thank him enough for being on this podcast. Junior Reed, how you doing, my brother?
I'm great, man. I'm great. How you doing this morning?
Oh, man, I'm doing good. I'm doing better because I got this call from you, and so I really appreciate your time on this and being able to get into this. Now, my brother, we have talked a little bit, and the original podcast that we have is one that's going to go into a series of ones with you. But how old are you right now?
I'm 40, man.
You're 40 on the dot. And when did you get incarcerated? What year are you on this bid right now?
I hit the county 2014. I went to jail one morning and I haven't been home since. So, about 11 years ago.
11 years ago. And what are your current charges that you have on your record?
When I'm in TVCJ mode, it's 2 counts of aggravated assault with deadly weapon, cocaine possession, and felon with foul.
And what was the last thing you said? Cocaine possession and what?
Cocaine possession and felon with foul.
Okay.
In total, I received 52 years total with the way they ran concurrences. They maxed out on everything at trial. Got 20 for both of the aggravated assault. Gave me 10 for the felon with foul and 2 for the cocaine possession charge. And then I got real fortunate, but at first they wanted to stack it, which gave me 52 years. But then they came back and said, no, we can't do that. So they gave me 20 years back in.
So you have a total of 20 years total? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and so essentially you would be up for parole somewhere in the net, like what year would you be up?
I came up for parole unofficially in 2021 after the incident with the officer where I was placed on hospice. The doctors tried to give me a supervised medical release. That was in 21, so I think parole the first time in 21, 3 years early. They were denied. They are subject to the society. And I think for the first time last year in 2024, they gave me a 2-year set-off. So I think again next year, 2026.
Now, you came up in the world as, I guess, what you would call a gangster, like a thug. And can you tell me a little bit about, let's break down, for those who do not know, this brother, we have a podcast on this thing regarding a first testimony that Rueben wrote, and it talks a lot about the double life that he led, because in that first podcast, we very clearly see that, you know, he was almost a preacher, and he was also a Crip. He was living a double style life. Now, my brother, when did you first join the gang? How old were you when you joined a gang?
Let's see. Like about 13 or 14, so it had to be like 98, 97, 98, somewhere off and down.
And how did that go down? Because your dad is a preacher. Your dad was a clerical guy. How did this go down? How did you end up meeting and getting involved in this gang?
Oh, it's kind of ironic, man, because I tell anybody who knows it, I tell you, there's three institutions that got to me while I was young. My country, church, and Crips. They all got to me young, man, before I even had it, you know what I'm saying, knew what was going on. And the thing was, I was born in California, Texas. East Texas. And the neighborhood I grew up in was all black, but it was on the white side of town. So, you know, growing up in East Texas, we ran around in the bushes and the country with 22s, hunting squirrels and rabbits and birds and eating berries, you know, just the life of the country was. So, having that experience, that's what when I ended up in the city, when I ended up in Waco, Texas, I meet guys, 12, 13, 14-year-old men who carry guns and they're not running at it. They run each other. But since I had skills with the gun and knew how to break them down, clear them and all that stuff, I was hanging around with individuals who were already in the game. And if we go to like the Crips house or be on the block and stuff like that, I get asked to hold guns all the time, or you know they be laying around in the house, and my thing was I like to break stuff down and put it back together. So I take the gun down, clean it, put it back together, and like some of the OGs noticed that I had a real talent for that, and you know and kind of cut for it. But what happened that made me really join the Crips was when I first got to the city. You know, it was a culture shock. I went from being in an all-white predominant school growing up. I'm at this school and I'm not white enough to fit in with them. And that's what Waco culture shock. Now I am at this all-black school, and now I'm not black enough to fit in there. So you know, you get beat up for being a nerd and being smart, which I was. You know, coming from the neighborhood and school that I was in the country. So really, saved my ass to keep me getting beat up every day after school. I got down with the Crips.
Brother, can you lean in a little? Can you lean in just a little bit more on your mic? I got it. It's just a little light on the side.
How about now?
There, that's perfect, dude. That is beautiful, right there.
All right.
Okay, so go. So basically, take me quickly through this. So you became the gunsmith for the gang because you were able to break these guns back down and always holding that. And this is around 13 or 14, you said?
Yeah, I'm the armor bearer.
Armor bearer. Yeah,
armor bearer.
And so how does that go down? How does one get invited into the Crips? Do they say join the gang? Is it like blood in, blood out, or what does that look like?
Well, it's mainly the neighborhood. It's mainly the neighborhood that you're in. And like when I'm outside riding my bike, well, it starts with you ride the school bus with these people. You know, in the city, everybody walks to a bus stop, whereas in the country, your house was a bus stop. You know, my house was a bus stop in the country, so everybody's in my house getting on the bus in the mornings, getting dropped off at my house in the evenings. But now I'm in the city, you know what I'm saying, you got to walk to the bus stop. So you're walking up to the bus stop, and these guys are there. You know, the gangbangers are at the bus stop. They going to school, so you're going to school with these guys. And these are 13, 14-year-old men, you know what I'm talking about. So after school, It's not like
and
the playmates.
And so you guys, I mean, is even at 13 and 14, were you guys all packing around heat, even to the bus stop? These guys.
Yeah. These guys they taking guns to school, man. Yeah, they taking guns to school. Like these 13, 14-year-old men, they gotta get it. Mama on drugs, never met their dad. They taking care of their sisters and brothers. You know, they selling drugs at this point in time. They stealing cars. Some mornings we don't ride the bus to school. We ride stealing cars to school and get dropped off by one of the homies or one of the older homies in the neighborhood or whatever. And it was just, I guess you say fellowshipping with these guys, man. Like my one partner, he was one to show me the ropes, take me around the neighborhood, introduce me to different people, stuff like that. Take me to the hood on my side of town, on the north side of Waco, is called PSV, Parkside Village. And, you know, at this point in time, a lot of this area is just mainly the neighborhood's Crips, man. You might have a blood here, blood there, but not too many. It was a predominantly Crip area.
Now, are all of you guys sporting around like the blue bandanas? Is this how you identified each other?
Oh yeah, blue clothes, blue bandanas, all that stuff.
And when was the first time you ever saw somebody get shot?
Had to be my first summer staying in Waco. I witnessed the shooting, guys getting into it over drug deals. I witnessed my first murder that summer too, but it wasn't by a gun. It was by a guy trying to jack a crackhead. The crackhead had his money, had his window down, and the guy reaches in the car to snatch the money. The crackhead latches onto the dude's arm, rolls his arm up in the window, and drives off with him, speeds off with him, and rams.
Hi, everybody. My name is Jason Boss, and I'm the host of Behind the Bars. First, I want to thank you for watching, sharing, and supporting our channel. This project means the world to us because it's about giving a voice to the unheard, the men and women behind the bars who share their raw, unfiltered stories of life, mistakes, redemption, and lessons learned. But here's the reality. Because of the nature of our content, Behind the Bars will never be monetized by YouTube, and that's okay. We're not doing this for the money, but to keep telling you these stories, to keep bringing you interviews from across the plains, we need your help. Right now, we're sitting on over 15 incredible interviews that are waiting to be edited and shared. We've got the footage, but we need the resources. More interviews mean more editors, more work, and a bigger team to make this vision a reality. And that's where you come in. By becoming a Patreon today, you're not just helping bring us these stories to life. You're also getting exclusive access to behind the scenes conversations and untold stories that won't be available on YouTube. These are the moments that take you deeper into the lives of our interviewees, as well as the challenges and triumphs we face while we are creating this channel. If you've ever been moved by one of these stories, if you believe in the power of second chances and in a shining light on the human experience, please consider supporting us. With your help, we can reach further and roll out even more of the content you love. So from the bottom of my heart and from all of us here at Behind the Bars, thank you for being a part of this journey. Much love to you, y'all, and we'll see you in the next episode.
To a tree, kills him.
Wow.
I think my first shooting and first murder days apart that summer, and it was all behind drugs. Like one guy making all the money, another guy that was not eating like this guy's eating, so jealousy ensues, and the first shootout, guy gets popped, but miraculously he keeps running. He was hit, but he ran to safety.
And when you first saw your first, the first people go down, what were your thoughts as a kid? And I'm saying kid, but I mean, at 13, you guys are running around like adults with guns, but what was your feelings? How did that feel?
Exciting and scary at the same time, because you don't want it to happen to you. And even to this day, when violence ensues, I get a rush, even though I didn't change my life. When it's just, I can't explain it. I've been fighting all my life. I've been punching, stabbing, and shooting all my life. So when you see something like that, it excites you. At the same time, you're scared because bullets ain't got no eyes. Bullets don't have no name on them. You could get hit, and you know what I'm saying? You don't want that to happen to you.
And do you think that seeing those very first two murders the way that was, did this change the very course of your life, direction based on those?
Well, it was only one murder. The first time I seen a guy get shot, he survived.
Oh.
The dude that got murdered by trying to attack the crackhead, he died. But yeah, they changed my life.
And so when did you start carrying a gun for your own defense? How old were you?
Had to be 14, but I never took it home with me. I never took it home with me. It's one of those things where you stash it at your partner's house because his family is more open to that type of lifestyle. Or you find some place around the neighborhood, around the yard, stash it. But, I never took them into my father's house.
And do you, what drugs were you guys all involved in at that point, at that 13? What had you used at that point? What was the drugs people were using? How did that, and when were you introduced to your first drugs?
Oh, see, in the country, we were smoking marijuana or smoking weed. So the first time I came across weed, I was 8 years old. That's typical in the backwoods of East Texas. To drink a beer or smoke a joint. And with your older cousins and stuff like that.
So did you say wet marijuana?
No, you smoke marijuana.
Okay.
Smoke a joint.
Okay.
Smoke a joint.
And that was
8 years old.
At 8 years old. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, at 8.
Wow.
At 8, that's my first time.
When did you step that up? When did it become more than just marijuana?
Oh, it wasn't until I stopped playing football in high school.
Mm-hmm.
When I was about 17, 18, and I went from smoking marijuana to smoking wet. That's when I went to smoking wet and bomber fluid, PCP, whatever they call it.
Yeah, and that's what wet is right? PCP is what you call it?
Yeah, that's what wet is.
And
that baby.
And that stuff is the stuff that the cops are always saying is it makes people into like superhumans, or they can't stop them. Is that the same stuff?
Yeah, it does. It does. That's the same stuff. But in East Texas, it's considered like a player drug because all the big time dope boys that I was around for anyway in East Texas that sold bricks and moved large amounts of dope and was in with the ladies and drove out nice cars in East Texas. They smoke wet. They smoke PCP or dip. It was a part of life at East Texas for us.
And is this a daily?
Not so much.
Is this a daily thing that people can do, and they can just drive around normal on PCP?
You have those who can, but then you have those who have whack attacks too, or which is a PCP overdose, and they tend to get naked, come out of their clothes, take off running. You've heard stories about people eating the face off a dog or crazy stuff like that. That stuff does happen.
What is that? Is that a contaminated, or is that just too much use?
It could be a combination of the two. It could be too much use, or it could be because you really never know what people are cutting that stuff with. Some people cut it with fingernail polish. Some people cut it with brake fluid. So you never know what you get in the hole to when it comes to that. So a lot of people, it's in their best interest to deal with the same dealer every time so that you know what you're getting.
So, essentially, all your life, 8 years old, you've been or you were using some kind of drugs. Did you ever get into coke?
All that came later in life. Like I went from like I was at 8 just, you know what I'm saying, on the weekend with the older cousins or stuff like that, I might hit a joint. But then you fast forward to Waco, and you're in the hood, they smoking blunts. And that blew my mind, that they not smoking joints. This is the first time I seen a guy take a blunt or a Perfecto cigar, bust it down, and fill it up with weed. I was like, man, wait. I was like, wait till the boys back home see this. That was one of the things that I brought back to the country from Waco with me. It was blunts. My cousins never seen blunts before.
The Waco days were, what age were you during the Waco times?
12 to 14, almost 15. 12
to 14, and then, and all this time, I mean, you were in the Crips, right? I mean, you were actively in these gangs. And did you guys, like, what does it mean to be in a gang? Do you guys go out and rob together? Do you guys go out and jack things together?
Exactly.
Or everything?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. We wasn't doing nothing positive. You know what I'm saying? Like, some of the guys were in the hitting houses, in the breaking in houses and robbing stores. That was never really my thing. Because, like, my first butt whooping as a little child was for stealing. So even to this day, I'm scared to death of stealing. So the robbery, I never got into the robbery and the breaking in houses. I've done those things. But as far as that being my main hustle, that wasn't for me. But now the fighting and being a lookout, and probably moving some drugs from this location to that location for the big homies and stuff like that, or just being on the block with the fellas, that was mainly my thing.
What do you think you found inside of this gang? Was it, what drives young men to seeking this kind of a lifestyle?
Belonging. To belong. I've been asked that question so many times over the years in different classes, even parole. And belonging. It's belonging, man.
And it sounds, I mean, even to 14, did you ever get into needles?
Nah.
Okay.
I almost did, right before I caught this case, I thought about it. I contemplated it when I was in the crystal meth game. But I didn't ever venture into that.
Okay, now let's talk the other side of the house, because you were still, I mean, at this age, you were like almost an ordained preacher, right?
Yeah, I was ordained.
So
I was ordained minister.
So
youth minister.
You were shooting up by day or shooting up by night, and you were preaching by day. How did that go down with your dad? When were you ordained?
At 13.
At 13.
At 13.
And what did your brothers of the Crips say to that? Did you tell them about this?
No, we didn't talk about it. It's one of the things we didn't talk about it. Everybody just knew that I was a good guy and that my father was a pastor or assistant pastor. And I love to talk. Even then, I love to talk about the Lord. Even then, I talked about Yahweh and knew right and wrong, and tell my fellas about different things. And you know what's crazy? They would come to me and ask me different things about the scriptures.
Your brothers?
To this day, yeah, the homies. To this day, the homies. That amazes me to this day. The homies were some of the main people that I ministered to. Like we'd be sitting there smoking weed and stuff, and the questions would come, and I'd break it down to them, the things that I knew. I'd tell them about Yeshua and salvation and all that stuff. To this day, it still amazes me that some of the first people I ministered to was my homies.
Yeah, that is amazing. Now, what did your dad? I mean, was he not involved enough to understand the lifestyle that you were doing on the side, or how did he miss this, or did he miss this, and how did he not stop what he was seeing?
Well, The thing with that is, he was just so happy to have me living with him. Him and my mom divorced. I wouldn't say that it was nasty and dirty, but the way that my mother did my father, and it had a religious theme to it. And he was just happy to have me there with him.
Mm.
So I was spoiled. I was real spoiled. And at the same time, I was a good kid.
Mm.
At the same time, I was a good kid, man.
Yeah, that's crazy. So where did you were in school the entire time? I mean, you were doing school up until high school, right?
Yeah, I graduated high school.
Okay.
Graduated high school.
You graduated high school. Now, we're getting towards the end of our little time here, and what I always try to do on these is give you guys out there the last little bit, because there's a lot of people that will be listening to this, and a lot of people will be able to take things away from this. And one of the things that I like to try to leave people with is something positive. How is it possible that they are able to change their lives based upon the mistakes that you have made? And what would you tell the young thugs out there, those who are looking to belong in a gang, those who are looking to find some kind of hope? How would you advise them, and what would you tell them to make their lives better?
I would tell them that I found a better way, and this is why. One of my talents, one of my gifts that Yahweh has given me is business. I can run a crack house. I tell my guys I can eat at the crack house, I can eat at the White House and fit in both places. But the thing is, I found a better way. When we do things to make money, they call us gangs. When it's legit, it's called a company. When we do things as gang members and run operations, they call us OGs. If you do it legit, you call it a CEO, a president of a company. I found a better way. The way that they're feeling, the ideas that they're having, that drive that's inside of them, it's okay to feel that way. You just have to spin it, use it for something positive. You got to find your purpose. And our whole purpose is to love Yahweh. Yahweh loves us. Our whole purpose in life is to love him back, and that's called worship. And worship should be done in every single form of life. In every area of your life, you should be found worshiping Yahweh. Like I say, I found a better way. I found a better way.
Beautiful. Beautiful. All right. For everybody out there, I will leave the contact information for Rueben Reed, a.k.a. Jr., in the description below. I'm sure he would love to hear from you and have a little bit of support out there. I really appreciate his time. I really appreciate all of you guys out there, and I want to thank Rueben very, very much for the honesty, for the integrity, for the conversation, and just for being here. My brother, thank you so much. I really appreciate it, my friend.
You have 1 minute left.